Yo, would it be possible for you to bring down my headphones a little bit? Oh, cool. Tiptoeing. Most of the memories the children hear are implications. You build your bigger picture out of little situations. Sampled images when you weren't busy switching stations. A tragic masterpiece you never really finished painting. Some saw themselves as chemical collision courses, smoked their prayers filterless and snorted higher forces. Chained to a planet that was chained to the sun, he smiled a toothy smile with traces of cocaine in his gums, and always knew he had the devil manifesting within. Tried to kill it with the poison he'd inject in his skin. Life was a pipe, his best friend's a syringe. Reality is gone again. Be cautious when you're swallowing the toxins in a way that makes your lungs believe it's oxygen. It's unhealthy. I know because they tell me I'll get lost within the fog, but when I wander in, God never felt so heavy. Exhale. What's a cross to a Christ? I thought as my smoke got lost in the night. I watched a thought that thought it was bright. A moth that thought it was bright flocked towards the light, dropped from its height. Now even hindsight gets lost with its life. It's quite a fine line between rotten and ripe. Quite confused as I tie the nooses on my Nike shoes by the smiley ivory hued sound bites on the nightly news. Finally I'm a man now, and the choice is mine to choose. Reciting cues of I'm for you. Everything divides into all for one for all them wars we won them all. Wonder what's inside that wonder ball. Summer, fall, winter, spring, summer stalls, splinters sting. Straw men love the simple things. The melting pot is simmering. I'm twittering my Twitter fingers. Will the thumbs point up or down? Will we still look to the sky when the lightning touches ground? Love is found in desperation. Deprivation sets the pavement. There's no room for steps adjacent. There's no room for... I'm quite confused. Quite confused. Yeah, I think that was me.
Oh, was that you?
Yeah, it's all good. Huh?
That's Chris. I think you're this one.
Which one is it? Which one is it? Which one is it? Those most viciously afflicted with the sickness are the symptomless. The most prolific, vivid visions, typically the simplest. It's amazing what you see when you bother to look. Dividends of fisherman got caught in the hook of his mind. Well, his mind got lost in the book. Now he's lost. What is going on? What the fuck is going on? I'm serious. What is going on? I was counting sheep, hoping in some way it might amount to sleep. I wasn't even drowsy. I must have been about 1,000 deep on a mountain peak where the clouds could speak. If I don't fall asleep soon, I think I'm about to leap. I'm falling like rain, someone's calling my name. I woke up driving a car with some fool all in my lane. I saw this dude with a sign and it said the end is coming soon. Last night I woke up and swore I saw another moon. I hopped right out my tomb, it must have been around 11ish. The second moon said that the red moon was devilish. The red moon said, I can't imagine what a hell it is being in prison in your present tense, but when the sentence ends it's possible, if not probable, then we'll be better friends. Stretch his endless lips to give me medicine, till when the sedative set in and you go to bed again. Don't forget me, kin, I went back to counting sheep and I woke up in the shepherd's skin. Led him in a leopard's den, what a sheep the shepherd's den. Another setting setting in, another setting setting in now. This is where the stress begins, the world was full of screams and scabs, and all that I can think is, damn it, I just wanna sleep so bad. I looked up at the wall and I saw the clock was melting. I fell into my hands and knees and then began collecting its thick sauce. Ran my fingertips through the TikToks, they could stretch my wrist. I got handcuffed to a wristwatch, that shit's locked. Oh shit, I wish that I could pick locks. I woke with this cock in a boxing ring. The clock went ting. My opponent was a clock, and God, that clock started clocking me. I don't want to punch my clock. It's becoming sad. Put a boxer in a box, he'll turn him to a punching bag. You put a boxer in a box, he'll turn him to a punching bag. You put a boxer in a box, he'll turn him to a punching bag. You put a boxer in a box, he'll turn him to a punching bag. You put a boxer in a box, he'll turn him to a punching bag. I don't want to punch my clock, it's becoming sad. Streets are tangled with people, disregarded, garbage left over. Step closer. The boy you swallowed eventually grew into a man with a fist for a stomach. Like a tree, it would bloom up the throat, outstretched fingers, wilting to clench around the heart. seized the pulse and tugs with all gravity. There is within me a dis-ease. The sun said to the moon, you better stop stealing my shine. They won't miss me in the dark if you bring brightness all the time. The moon said, it's mine, son. What, do I look dumb to you? I'm hungry for their loving too. So what the fuck you gonna do? God heard the argument and they became a part of it. I made them in my image. Yeah, so what, you fucking narcissist, said Venus, who's the meanest motherfucker in the galaxy, who knew nothing had the capacity to piss God off like blasphemy. God said, if we weren't held apart by that motherfucker gravity, none of y'all would have the audacity to think of talking back to me. Well, actually, said Satan, if gravity didn't exist, well, I'd be floating up to heaven to fuck you up for talking shit. And then so gravity is like, fine, I don't know what you kids are yelling for, but since you think you're hella raw, fine, we won't be friends no more. Right away they went to war. Pluto said, bring your weapons or forget them. My pen's mighty, I will bend their swords with metaphors. The sun was headed for the moon, flying as fast as he could, but he got blasted by some aliens from a whole nother neighborhood. And they said, y'all are just some punk-ass motherfuckers in the Milky Way, and anyone who's got some shit to say is getting killed today. The sun said, in these parts, I am the day. Their gamma rays were no match to the pack. The moon got scared and ran away, and meanwhile, Venus was talking mad shit. So you ain't even a planet, Pluto. Pluto said, yeah, you don't want these hands. Damn, this little rock is talking shit to me. Not Venus. And with Pluto and the planets, the universe is chaos. It's Pluto and the planets, the universe is chaos. Pluto and the planets, the universe is chaos. Pluto and the planets, Pluto and the planets. The universe is chaos. Stargazing out the windows of a megabus has changed as much as where it's coming from and where it's taking us. It ain't the same these days, I only see my face. I'm such a stranger, stuck on wondering what they're gonna make of us. And are we gonna make enough? And are we gonna make it what we wanted? I just wish that I could say I never gave a fuck, but once I got a taste of fame, I only stayed complaining. And it's strange like how my nightmares all became about me waking up nowhere near the gutter. Like, Lord, are we famous yet? Making moves, they're waiting on the main event. I made an album, it sounded like a mixtape, and who would know the outcome of it all would be I bit Drake, and me and my papermate lay awake and stalemate, think about a paperweight that taught me how to play a hate. Like, fuck you and your labels, all you labels do is label make layers full of flavors, but you came to decorate the cake, serve it on a golden record, catered to a paper plate, ate it up. You look like a reflection that I'd hate to face, as I had an ass and a ad and a tag with a hash, and it can't act as if it all happens on accident. Magic tricks ain't shit, you ain't a star, you're an asterisk footnote after the manuscript that says nasty and passion. It's only half of it, homie, it isn't even the catalyst. Only thing you need to be writing is caption statuses. I've got so many things to say, so many ways to say a thing, so many jingles playing flavors ain't worth savoring, so many paper trails to chase if I became a king, with kicks so fly you'd never notice my decaying wings. Stargazing out the windows of a megabus has changed. It's not the same. It's not a game anymore, nor a metaphor. It's gotten serious. Here he is, lost and furious, caught in curiousness, with 9 lives, I widen my eyes, my time flies too fast for me, I can't catch my breath, I'm so ratchetly approaching the end of it, can't find the sentences, can't make sense of this dimensionless existence that this is, misfitted for the imprints. That's how I've been since around 1993. Why is he so alive and caught in the irony of trying to survive? And trying to find a hive to keep the bees in, and find a reason for even breathing. I keep repeating the same mistakes to keep my days awake. A breaking pace, a fragile step, the only way, a nothing left, a breath that sucks the life from you. That's what I would do. If I were you, that's what I would do. I watched Tommy go from spitting from the heart, killing it, to sipping liquor, living in the park. His first sip of it was bitter as the winter in the dark, but it hit him like a pistol whip, split his lips apart. Now him and his affiliates are shivering, they march through the city sipping glitter for a cigarette to spark. This is no coincidence, victims are a part of a system that's insidious, kindling a spark to a flame indigenous to living in its mark. Now ordinary citizens witness this embark on a minute's quick decision while the chivalrous will start throwing nickels. The pitiless cause hideous remarks, but with cognitive dissonance the difference isn't stark. What is this America if it isn't ours? The other day I saw his bars whittled in the bark of a tree, feeling reminiscence stricken with a sharp sense of missing being kids again. But it's been a minute since we were little, and in a sense innocence was ours. See, the nature of the threat ain't as blatant as a razor to your neck. The dots are major in the ways that they connect. When you know it used to be a neighborhood, you can still smell dinner rising in the early evening. Then, carefully, when you know it used to be a neighborhood, you can still smell dinner rising in the early evening. From the unmarked graves of memories of growing up, carefully, the young buildings drift away. First the high-rises, panels, then brick by brick, walls unwiden. It is as if you have returned to your teenage stomping grounds. You are a toddler, the preschool on the corner, in which memories of your first jelly beans and nightmares lived vanish. It keeps going. When you return, the roads are unwinding. Home has outgrown you, a bitter old boy in a city that is not his. Unplugged, I find myself lost deep inside of my thoughts. This is a love letter to whom it may concern. Written from a bridge I still ain't found a way to burn. You know me. Always leaping, never landing. Always merely seeking understanding. But you know what? Sometimes I look up at the sky and try to find the star that stole the twinkle from your eye. And then I try not to wish upon it that you die, or if not you, then I. Why? Because I'm not superstitious, and so it would seem foolish, or at least not too officious. And if it did come true, knowing that I threw my wishes in the well for you would tell you too much and it's too expensive.
Curious rages, concerned or curious faces. That music never quite returns when it's faded, but it sure never goes away once it's outdated. I'm outdated now, and wow, how outrageous. Wait my way to this dismay just to run out and replace it. I mean, face it, we're both gonna face a lot of faces. Had cases of feelings and their smiles are contagious. I'm trying to embrace it. I brace myself to fall. I ain't myself at all when I'm waiting on your call. You make me lose sight of the side of me I like. You make me get all overly excited in the night and make me do things that I've decided are not right and become a weaker man as I try with all my might to deny the fact of cruel actions, cruel to my health. Make believe that you're making me do what I do to myself.
I waddle to my bottle, wishing it was you. Thank God it's not. I drop the bottle and then collect the broken shards. They're what I've got. Remember being happy? I thought that was us, but I forgot. It just doesn't feel a thing like I had thought. My letter never made it to an envelope. Instead, it got enveloped in a pond of marijuana smoke. I'm holding on to hope. You and I will tie the knot before I put it on a rope. I hope I don't lose sight, though, of what was once important. Waking up beside you was the thing that made my morning. It's an overdue goodbye that it still feels too early for. Insincerely or insecurely yours, Elijah. Y'all treat me great. You know I really hate to abbreviate it, but I need to say it, and I'd rather do it now than wait till it spills out while we're inebriated. The sentiments that we awaited didn't come from the sentiments we created with our thumbs. Anxiety inside of me is rising really swiftly. I think it gets me. With all that bullshit, you can miss me. It's history, the present tense, the essence, effervescent, whatever bends like roads I'm on. I'll keep on going strong, slow and shakily. Hoping it'll make of me something gracefully, a landing to fall on. Let bygones be bygones and die till we're all gone. .com. The windows I get lost on. Watching all the bottles we threw back. Watching all the bottles we threw back, not sure who's swallowing who. Watching all the bottles we threw back, not sure who's swallowing who. My God, tolerance grew fast for all following suit. I think you got a problem, I probably do. I already knew that, but some truth's probably worth swallowing too. So let's do it. Although I'm not convinced that God exists, I talk to him too often, not to listen, just to ask him how it got to this. God, I miss the promises the city had to offer when the consequence was farther from our thoughts than what our fathers thought. Like, dog, I got a bottle, shots of vodka in my locker. The metropolis just used to kiss us softer. Got a longer list of sorries, broken promises, locked in lips, tops to flip off like cops that caught us, charge our bottles as accomplices. We're hostages. Mama, look at all of my accomplishments, drank all of this without vomiting or losing consciousness. And to be honest, it's hard to call it quits or be an optimist, to see it half full when you're all hollowed out and bottomless. Hollowed out and bottomless. Hollowed out and bottomless. Hollowed out and bottomless. Moses had a diction like his dad. What little time they spent together occurred shortly after he ran out on the family during brief visits to the graveyard. Enough to stir Mo's mumble. The same broken-tooth English stumbled over his lips and fell face first onto concrete jungle gyms, where clever kids called him slow-mo. He hated it. The only thing he never lost in life was a race. We laughed harder as he got red. He outran police and even pimpled-faced teenagers. giggling older girls, his ears teasing fingers aimed at someone slower. When embarrassed boys became bullies, Mo was fearless, bigger than kids, 3 times his size. He's been trying to outrun himself ever since. Her eyelids crash quietly, butterfly shut. A shudder lands in her stiff, sideways body, lifts her from the decomposing day. She falls asleep and floats. In dreams, she is a refugee, at peace in a hostile home. A deep frown swallows her mouth, sinking in soft skin, carving canyons down her cheeks, a nightmare's mask. Clay hovers, head hanging from a thinly threaded neck, strung loose and straining, the sight's clinging sorrow, boundless, ungrounded gravity. His eyes might spill out, he knows better, he is sure she is having a nightmare. His hand falls on her shoulder, shakes her awake, and drags her back. Moses had addiction like his dad, a terrible miracle given the utter rarity with which they spoke. Barely a word was shared without a casket between them. Their speech was the loudest ghost. He laughed like a chainsaw. I can't imagine him without sharp teeth spinning in his grin. Funny how I never noticed until I couldn't close my eyes without hearing his hunger. The poor man's rich. Richard once juiced a man's trachea with the same hand that cradled his newborn niece, felt her first breath, fell in love with her lungs, whispered the word life. Moses had addiction like his dad. Most of their time spent together was at his funeral. It was more than enough for the father to pass a way of life down like an heirloom or spinal shivers. The boy, no freer from his father's will than the man, inherited a hot jaw full of broken tooth talk style. The same sloppy mumble, stumbling sentences made of attempts at walking a bloodline straight, tripping on lips, landing face first, flat. Every night was a cold day's corpse. Words hung from his tongue like bitter fruit, dangling sap, strangled deep in dead branches that buried themselves in the dark sky like tangled roots. The old man drinks outside a thin trailer. He has seen things. Part of him quietly remembers with each can he crushes. He talks too often to anyone, trusts no one who claims to know. All he owned was his home, demolished. How many other homelessly rambling drunks does God confide in? Moses had addiction like his dad. He ran out on the family and died. It ran in the family. Moses ran. Fast. He used to run away. Then he turned around. Realized he had hands. Fast hands. Started running up on anyone who ran their mouth. It ran in the family. Moses' mouth moved slowly. white trash stutter, slurred like a junkie before he was one. It was funny. The other kids called him Slow-Mo, but the only thing he never lost was a race, and that nickname and addiction that ran in his family. He would race anyone who ran. The other kids grew tired of being beaten. He ran out of people to outrun. I remember the last race. We all watched Moses face off with the only one he had yet to leave behind. His mouth was a stuttering starter's pistol. Ready, his heart raced. Set, lips tripped on his father's memory. It began with a long go. He's been trying to outrun himself ever since. That's why. Silence. When I'm alone, I think about you and suicide. Love and lacking dance. Pistols and phones play tug of war. My finger rests on the trigger before saying I love you, so that I may hang up before your response. Eric returns home, storms through the front door, snaps the latches locked, breathes for the first time all day. Relief. Tornadoes exhale from his thick thighs. He deflates, unzips his skin, hangs it like a writhing worm from the hook of a hat rack, collapses on the couch, meat dripping. He knows heaven's deepest pleasure is the soothing removal of a long day's blade. The feeling is cut short. He remembers tomorrow morning. Another wound falls asleep in spite. But when the sun rose, he stuck to the cushions, coagulating. Rotting meat on the couch, he sent the smiling skin suit in as a substitute. We complimented it on losing weight. Eventually he disappeared entirely. When we finally found his skin, it had hung itself days ago. He had been dead for years. Food for thought. My grandmother's brain ate itself. It was a gruesome meal to watch. It changed me. I was only a boy. I had never seen anything so fascinating. Maybe I got too close. It swallowed my eyes. I still see it whenever I open them. Funny thing is, I did not have to smash open the old woman's skull, sift the slimy red puddle from my favorite organ, scoop the goop, pour it back, glue her head, and wait for her to wake up. The thought had never even crossed my mind. A few years prior, I sat front row to the splitting of her daughter's skull, close enough to dip fingers into a river running from an actual brain. Who could imagine that was a mere nosebleed seat next to the ocean view of her mother's mind, dissecting itself into dismembered memories, fragments of everything she had ever been. For a child to see all this, and from behind a full head of hair, truly it was a mind-opening experience. Where did all my poetry go? Where did all my poetry go? Oh no! Where did all my poetry go? Where did all of my poetry go? Oh no! I think I am going to step out and smoke cigarettes. If that's cool
might not be another one for a few miles.
It's a sig. Segway. You're gonna want to segue off this ramp.